Coming up, AMD's Fusion hits the streets. Is Superman working for Nvidia? The boxy box gets an update, all that, and a whole lot more coming right up.
The bar has been set wicked fast.
It rocked in the benchmarks. We're going to up the ante a little bit.
Processing power,
Maybe.
I kind of understand this. Welcome to 2.5 Geeks. I'm Ayaz Akhtar alongside Dave Altavilla and Marco Chiappetta. How are you guys doing?
Doing fantastic as usual.
Only fantastic?
I'll let Dave say something better.
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I am super duper. That's right. Right here. This guy. Awesome.
Double thumbs.
Let's talk
What has
about,
two thumbs and feels super? This guy.
Oh.
Let's stop the horrible comedy act and discuss technology, shall we? Let's talk about. Let's talk to Marco first. Let's talk about AMD's Fusion, and it's actually that's their APU, so it's their integrated graphics plus processor, all in the same chip, I think. I think we've been talking about this since, I don't know, 1992 or so, Marco. Is it actually out now?
Since
that's about right. We actually had our first post on the site about Fusion in 2006. But back in November, Dave had a chance to fly out to AMD headquarters to test an engineering platform of what was codenamed Zacate. And now retail products are finally ready. It's available in, well, the E350 APU is available in some netbooks, some highly integrated motherboards, and home theater PCs. I took a look at two retail-ready products. Here's one. Here's a cool little Gigabyte mini ITX motherboard. And let me grab the very cool Zotac HTPC, the Z-Box. This thing is so slick.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, the gist of the story, you have a really low power 1.6 gigahertz dual core CPU paired to a Radeon HD 6000 series GPU, all on a single chip. And the Z-Box, this entire rig when idling pulls about 18 watts. And we think about what that can do versus a light bulb that's pulling 100 watts. It's really, really impressive, if you ask me.
Well, in fairness, I think if you compare it to the Nintendo Wii, which is an incredibly underpowered video game system, that pulls like 11 watts. And this thing is an actual HTPC running in there. What did you find with the HTPC in particular, considering having the discrete graphics card seems like a real way to go, but to have this solution, does it actually, is it up to muster?
Yes and no. So in terms of overall system performance, yes, it surpasses Intel's Atom in terms of CPU performance. GPU performance is also better than any Intel integrated, and even surpassed NVIDIA's Ion and Ion 2, but software support's not 100%. Flash video acceleration wasn't working completely. It will be working. We've tested multiple versions of the plugin, and different things work with different versions. So it's just a matter of working out some kinks. But overall, it's going to be a solid platform, and I think really popular with both do-it-yourselfers who want to use a motherboard like the Gigabyte board, or those who just want a complete solution like the Zotac Z-Box.
Did you get to play with the motherboard at all? Did you install it and make a whole system with it or anything?
Yeah, absolutely. It basically performed exactly the same as what's in the Zotac box. I used the same drive so that my numbers were comparable. What's cool is $149 for that motherboard, but it's a motherboard, a CPU, and a DirectX 11 GPU. For $149, you add memory and storage, you have a full system.
Let's talk about competitor to AMD now, I guess, because Nvidia is making processors like crazy. They have a new quad-core Tegra mobile processor, which they're codenaming Cal L, and that's right, that's Superman's Kryptonian name. Dave, this is an actual demo? This thing's actually running?
Yeah, absolutely. And so just a few days before Mobile World Congress, NVIDIA got back first silicon on their next generation quad-core Tegra processor. They were able to actually demo the chip running, a couple of performance benchmarks. This thing, they're claiming, is able to deliver 5x the performance of Tegra 2, which is on the market now in a number of devices, handsets, tablets, Android devices. And this thing also is infused with a 12-core GeForce GPU on board as well. So it's looking pretty sweet so far.
Is there any timeline to this release? I mean, should they be shying away from the dual-core stuff that's coming out right now?
I think it's probably a little bit aggressive to shy away from anything dual-core or Tegra 2 or otherwise in the market currently. This thing is feeling like probably later half 2011, but it is a 2011 product, and capable of 1440p video playback, if you can believe that. I'm not sure why you'd need that many pixels on a 10-inch slate, but that's what they're saying. So 300 DPI on a 10-inch device, 2560 by 1440. It's actually faster than a Core 2 Duo running at 2 gigahertz. Now that's a full dual-core PC processor with 4 meg of L2 cache and a 667 megahertz front-side bus. It's no joke. It's a bit of horsepower.
Does Nvidia actually have the hardware partners out there that this is going to make a difference anywhere?
Yeah, absolutely. I think what we've seen with Tegra 2 was certainly a late entrant to the market. And quite frankly, we had heard that there were some rumors that Nvidia Tegra 2 wasn't quite baked enough in time for some of the Android devices. But also, let's remember that Android tablets are just getting real now with Honeycomb's announcement. But yeah, you've seen Tegra 2 handsets from multiple manufacturers and tablets as well. You get guys like Acer, Asus, Toshiba. The list goes on. Motorola, certainly some big Tegra 2 devices with the Atrix 4G and the Zoom tablet. ViewSonic. So yeah, they've got some pretty good traction with the manufacturers, and we would think that if Cal L is what they're claiming it is, they could get some design wins.
Well, I'm looking at the rundown here, and I see that I'm going to be talking about SSDs. So my first thought is Dave, but no, wait. It actually says we're going to talk to Marco about the OCZ Vertex 3. And I know you guys actually have a review out.
He's taking my job.
So what do you know?
So I have the new hotness here. It is an early engineering sample, so no branding on it yet. But this is OCZ's latest, upcoming offering, built around SandForce's upcoming SF2000 series of processors. And I finished all the testing. The article is going up right after we finish recording this, basically. And let me just tell you, performance is killer. Single drive connected to just a standard, SATA 6G South Bridge, getting 550 megasecond plus reads and over 500 megasecond writes in some tests.
Yeah, baby.
To give some kind of perspective, can you give an example of like the fastest spinning hard drive that with the kind of read-write speeds?
Actually, I can't because I haven't looked at one in so long. But you're talking, actually, I shouldn't say that.
100
So
meg,
for
100
a
meg.
decent performing hard drive, for writes from 35 to maybe 110 megs a second, and for reads right around 100, 120 megs a second. But it's the latency with the drives that really kill its performance versus an SSD. An SSD is, fractional millisecond latency where hard drives are 12, 16 millisecond.
Now, I think I saw something off of Twitter by you, Marco, about wiping an SSD before you end up using it. Could you explain that to the audience?
So this is really funny, right? Everybody knows, everybody that follows tech knows that when an SSD is dirty, performance goes down. So while testing for this article, I had 2 brand new, still shrink-wrapped in the box SSDs that I opened up and plugged right in for testing. And performance was decent, but it wasn't where I expected. So I said, you know what? Let me just secure erase and start over. And wouldn't you know it, performance was much better after the secure erase. So what I think's happening is, some drives go through qualification and maybe they have some tests performed on them, and they're hitting store shelves in a somewhat dirty state. So I'm just recommending people secure erase before they install them. That's all.
That's a great tip, and another reason to just follow Marco on Twitter.
That's right.
And you wouldn't have like resellers like repackaging and shrink wrapping return drives or nothing. No.
No, there was no porn on the drive. It was blank. It was a blank new drive. 2 drives, I should say. They just weren't performing where they should, and a secure erase fixed it right up.
That's a good tip to know. Let's talk about the Boxy box. Dave, I know you got to play with this, and I think there's been an update. Now it had Voodoo, I think, for a while, actually. Now it just got Netflix, making this the 8 billionth device to get Netflix. What did you think?
Well, yeah, here it is right here. And it's a cute little guy, It's stylish, kind of artsy with its angular, kind of hacked up box-looking thing. And
that green side's the bottom.
Yes, that's the bottom. You put that down on the desk. It's sort of It's actually rubberized, so it's kind of cool. It's skid proof, keeps the scratches from your entertainment center. And backside here, you've got a pair of USB ports, 10100 Ethernet, HDMI, optical, and analog audio, and flash card slot right there. A pretty interesting device. And I think what was interesting for us is that, the folks at Boxy took their sweet time getting us an eval unit, to be quite honest. And that was good because it allowed them to sort of bake their platform and get a little bit more traction from third-party providers in the Boxy platform to provide more content and to polish up the experience. And so, yeah, Netflix was added very recently, and Vudu, which I personally like a lot, was added recently. Also a big-name movie house for lots of different first-rate movies.
Now, did you get the device with Netflix already on it, or did you have to do a software upgrade, or how did that work?
Yeah, software upgrade, and it's actually fully automated. It's really nice. We've been running this thing, by the way, over an 802.11n wireless connection. It's not even wired. It has Wi-Fi built in, and the experience has been acceptable. Not optimal, I would say, but acceptable, believe it or not, even for high-def content. And so, yeah, what you do is, you power the thing on, and if it detects there's an update in the, Boxy sphere, if you will, available, it automatically pushes that, asks you, if you want to accept the update, and pushes it down to you.
So you actually have a choice. You can turn off the update. You can say no.
Yeah, you can decline your update, sure. Yep.
That sounds like, this is supposed to be a consumer device, right? What does it cost? I think it's like $300.
It's $199.
Oh, $200. So it's competing against every other streaming device, including Roku, Apple TV, and every other major manufacturer. Is there anything that makes it stand out at all?
Well, honestly, I haven't looked at Roku. We did look at Apple TV. I'd say, honestly, from a pure specs standpoint, Boxy Box is over Apple TV. It's able to stream 1080p content, Apple TV 720p only. And so, there's some hardware advantages there, but I think it's about the experience and the interface. I happen to like the Boxy interface a lot. The Netflix app, believe it or not, in the Boxy environment, I'm not sure how it operates. I haven't seen it in the other platforms yet. It's actually really nice. You can stop in the middle of a movie and then pan through scenes. They have like tiled scenes. Actually, a lot more like a little bit more granular than even a DVD menu, if you will. So really kind of nice timeline choices there. Vudu is excellent too, and you get some first-rate HDX quality movies there that you can rent for $5.99. Netflix is kind of like a $7.99 all-you-can-eat streaming thing, but they've got to work on content. Netflix has to bring up their content. One of the things I like about the Boxy interface was actually streaming, local content off of the network, and like some of the image viewers, the interface that's on that, and actually it played pretty much everything I threw at it, including AVC HD high-def video files from our Canon camera here that we shoot a lot of our reviews with. So, it hasn't failed me yet, and I guess you got to give it kudos for that.
I can't wait to see the full review. I'm just going to recommend off the bat, I don't know, a WD Live TV or something like that. Those things they're cheap and they work about the same.
That's
Marco,
very true.
Let's talk about the contest, shall we?
Sure.
Why don't you talk about it?
What do you want to know?
Remind
we are running the chilling with the Hot Hardware Community Sweepstakes, and we kept it super simple this time. Come by the site and join our forum. Just comment on some news, some forum posts, make some friends in there, chat it up, and we're going to randomly select a winner for a killer Core i7-870 based gaming rig that I am going to build myself.
And once again, and you will see this, by the way, on a plug here on This Old Nerd next week, you'll see Marco build a machine. It's a sight to see. You'll see it at Hot Hardware, you'll see it everywhere. Oh, by the way, you can find Hot Hardware everywhere, by the way. It's also on dig.com/hothardware. It's on facebook.com/hothardware. It's on twitter.com/hothardware. That's on youtube.com/hothardwarevids. Or you can just go to hothardware.com where we talk about, well, you can see all the stories we talked about right there. Isn't that just so neat and easy?
It's a beautiful
It's finger clicking good.
Oh. You
Somebody sent that to me and I had to use it.
Yeah, I'm going to end on that note. Finger clicking good, folks.